Surrogacy, was that always the way that the two of you were going to go?
Well, I mean, we looked at many different options in the beginning, but I think it became clear we both wanted a biological connection to our firstborn.
Right.
Who knows where we'll go from here? Right. I mean, we might end up with 10. It takes 11 to make a full football team,
it
right? It
sure does.
So,
is that the way you're heading?
Yeah, that's the way we're heading. But, you know, Tom had lost his father, and I'd lost my mom and my brother, and you start to yearn for that connection that goes from your past to your future.
Sure.
And surrogacy was one of the ways we could do it.
And did you have that in America?
So we decided to go to America after we did our research.
Okay.
So when we were doing our research, it became clear that the law here is incredibly vague, if it exists at all.
Very woolly, yeah.
And in the U.S., in most states, and in California in particular, it has very clear law.
Right.
And we thought, I'm a person who's worked with the law, worked to help change laws, and I think this about the law. Good, clear law creates good behavior, but it also creates really clear understanding.
Yeah.
And we both thought, listen, there's all these risks in this. Let's keep ourselves, our surrogate, and our eventual child as safe as possible. Let's go to where there's the best law.
Sure, because it's the most important thing you'll ever do. Really.
It really is.
You know,
it's
really
the most extraordinary, life-changing.
Yeah,
oh, my gosh, the whole orbit of our lives has changed. I'm up early in the morning. I mean, who am I?
Exactly.
Wild.
And do you still have a contact with the surrogate mum? Are you still,
yeah.
Is she very much part of your life?
I mean, that's part of it, and that's one of the misconceptions. So when we first announced that we were having a child, I didn't realize there would be any backlash because I come from a place where it's fairly common. Right. And we very quickly realized people here have some trouble with it, and that there were a lot of misconceptions. There's some concerns that are valid, and then there's some misconceptions. One of them is that this is just a transactional thing that happens between intended parents and surrogates.
Sure, it's like you're buying a baby.
Yeah, and it's really not. In the U.S., where there is good law, I'm not saying it's perfect or the best yet, but where there is good law, they encourage you to build a relationship with someone who will become your surrogate.
Makes sense.
You don't enter into this until there is a friendship, there is a relationship there with her and her family, and it's an ongoing relationship for the rest of your life. Your child, born of surrogacy, has a right to know where they come from and a right to have a relationship with the person who brought them into this world.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, after a year and a half of spending this most intimate, beautiful time with this woman who's giving us this incredible gift, are you kidding me? Do you think she couldn't get rid of us if she tried?
Exactly.
So it's a lot of texting.
But that makes perfect sense. What do you think needs to be done here in the UK to tighten up the law, to make the law much more clear for all concerned?
Well, I'd say Parliament has taken a great step forward, and they came out with the advice they would give. But what they don't do is honor the contracts made between surrogates and intended parents in courts of law.
Right.
So in the U.S., when you make this you sign these agreements that go through every possible outcome, both very happy and if anything happens that's upsetting and tragic or difficult medical-wise, you know what's going to happen.
Sure.
There's no fear of an intended parent saying, you know what, actually, I don't want that child, or a surrogate saying, you know what, I'm going to keep the child. These are enforceable contracts. The agreement's been made, so you can get on with the business of family building and enjoy this time.
Because you know you've got that peace of mind.
You got it. Yeah. Here, you can build those contracts, and guess what? Their worth is less than the paper they're written on. They are not honored in courts of law here. So number one is just making sure these agreements can be honored in courts of law, so that when you come to these understandings, people are taking it seriously, they know it's enforceable, and that there's clear understanding. Clear understanding creates clear behaviour.
No, it very much does. And I can tell that you two are extremely happy, and the reaction that you've got overwhelmingly has been positive. It's
been very positive in the United States.
Right.
It was a bit mixed here, but I'm hoping that doing this podcast that explores all of the positive aspects, but also the troubles that could happen without good law, that hears from the most passionate voices on both sides, those for and against surrogacy. I'm hoping that sort of exploration starts to dispel some of the misconceptions, and that we can take joy in the people who are building their families. Most people who are still straight people using surrogacy and have had some difficult circumstances medically is why they go there. Right. And they're finally finding joy, and I hope this country can come to a place where they can celebrate that family-building joy with them.
Makes perfect sense to me. Common sense, that's what it is. We need a lot more of that, we really do. Lads, thank you so much. And give our love to Tom. He's a wee angel and doing so well. We're so proud of him. And great to see you. And we'll put lots more information about surrogacy in our website if anybody's interested or wants to find out more. And the differences between here and the US, we'll put that in the website too.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much.